Let me guess. You had a great meeting. You made your case. You walked them through all the data. You answered their questions. Maybe you even sent out a follow-up email with a beautifully formatted summary. And then, nothing. Crickets. Radio silence. Let's understand why that's happening and help you fix it. So you landed on the most obvious explanation. They just don't get it. I'm here to tell you that's probably wrong. And honestly, it's a little bit of a cop-out. Here's what's actually happening. When your client doesn't respond, doesn't decide, doesn't move, they're not confused. They're not sitting in a conference room somewhere staring blankly at your proposal thinking, what is this document? They understood you just fine. They just decided not to act. And those are two very different things. And mixing them up is costing you business. Understanding is a cognitive event. Action is a decision. And decisions are driven by perceived value, risk, effort, and timing, not by how thorough your presentation was. There's a big difference between a message that's clear and a message that's compelling. You can explain something perfectly and still give people absolutely no reason to do anything about it. See, clarity says, here's what's happening. Persuasion says, and here's why you need to care about it right now. One of those closes deals. The other one gets a, thanks, we'll circle back. Here's a scenario that probably sounds familiar. A consultant puts together a rock-solid analysis. Solid data, clean logic, the whole thing. The client nods, says it's really insightful, tells them they'll review it internally. Weeks go by. Nothing. So the consultant decides the problem must be that the client didn't fully understand it. They schedule another meeting. They bring more slides. More slides was not the answer. The client understood the proposal. They just concluded that the hassle of implementing it outweighed the benefit of the result. That's a prioritization problem, not a comprehension problem, and you can't PowerPoint your way out of a prioritization problem. So, why do we keep blaming the audience? Because it's comfortable. If they don't get it, there's nothing wrong with your approach. You don't have to change anything. It's a very convenient story to tell yourself. But the less comfortable truth is this. If your message isn't creating action, you need to look at whether your message is actually making action feel necessary. Are you spelling out what happens if they do nothing? Not in vague terms, but specifically. What does inaction cost them in ways that they already care about? When the cost of doing nothing is concrete and real, the conversation changes. It stops being theoretical and it becomes urgent. So stop asking yourself, did they understand me? And start asking, did I give them a reason to move? Your audience isn't waiting for more information. They're waiting for a reason. And if you keep blaming their comprehension instead of examining your approach, you're on mute. For the rest of this story, follow us on Substack. And for help making sure that your message creates the results you need, reach out to us for a free 30-minute consultation.